Ken Reid,
Gary Maxwell.
9-time author.
Yeah, about to be, yeah.
Sportsnet personality.
Yes.
Sportsnet Central, Ken
Yes.
and Ivanka.
Yes, Expos fan.
Expos fan, obviously. The spirit of the game. That's what we're going to talk about today. The spirit of the game. Not just baseball, not just hockey, but how about life from the perspective of Pictou County, Nova Scotia?
Okay, let's
That
get
must
into
give you an interesting perspective right there, wouldn't you say?
it. Just growing up in a small town, yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up in a small town. It was fantastic, and I think my favorite thing about it was everybody knew everybody, and when I say that, I mean everybody immersed. There was one elementary school, there was one high school. I was the rich kid in town because my dad was the doctor, but we went to school with everybody. My dad was the doctor, he was the rich doctor, but he played in the town hockey league with the guys who, were great guys who were fishermen, guys who were lawyers, everybody interacted. And when I say everybody knew everybody, we truly knew each other, and a lot of us counted on each other. There was some great fist fights too in Pictou, but when it was over, here we go.
Here we go. And in terms of the spirit of the game, here's what it hit me. You've got a son, a pretty good goaltender.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Kicking them out.
Yeah.
Right?
He's doing his thing.
Right? Kick save and a beauty.
Yes.
Right? Rapier like glove hand.
Good glove hand from baseball.
Yeah. So, son playing competitive hockey. Then you're a national sportscaster with great perspective, but you're from Maritime Canada.
Yes.
Like there's a lot of things going on in the Ken Reid mix, as it were.
Well, as I say to Ivanka, we're city mouse, country mouse. She's the city girl, I'm the country boy. And yeah, I find myself in this big city, which I've been living in now for 15 years. It sounds weird. I live in Toronto, but home's Nova Scotia, right? Home's
Right.
always home. So yeah, it's eye opener. There's a lot going on. I'm from a place where if you drove 15 minutes, that was a far drive. Now it's half an hour to get to work. So it's a different life.
So in terms of the spirit of the game, all kidding aside, like where's everything headed for parents of athletes, whether they're hockey players, Ken, just from your vantage point,
Yeah.
which I think is pretty unique. Where's all this going?
I think we all need to put the brakes on and take a step back.
Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah, it's crazy. Minor hockey in Toronto is unlike anything I've ever seen. Not everybody's going to play in the NHL. Take your turn, even if it's the AAA level. I mean, up to a certain age. Like, let's just put the brakes on it. Let's have fun. Let's get along. One of my favorite things is when I watch my kid play. End of every period, he and the other goalie, they'll give each other a little high five. There was a thing last night where one of the kids, I think he accidentally slashed one of our kids. He came up and apologized after. It's a game, and I think one thing we need to remember about the game and the spirit of the game is if it wasn't for an opponent, you couldn't play. If it wasn't for a ref, you couldn't play. And you respect your opponent because he gives you the opportunity to do your best, and you give that opponent the opportunity to do their best. So that to me is what the spirit of the game is all about. It's a game. It's not life. As much as you think it might be life, it's not life, it's part of life. And sometimes when the scoreboard says the other team won 3-2, you might have did something that made you a winner as well. And it's a long journey. You can have an NHL career that lasts 20 years. If you're lucky, you might win one cup. Were the other 19 seasons a waste? Absolutely not.
Right.
So embrace, I would say, the journey. And I mean, some of the best performances athletes have ever had have been in a loss. A loss by the scoreboard, but is it really a loss?
Well, what about your own journey?
Yeah.
You get into broadcasting when?
My first gig was at Access Cable in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia in 1997. I loved it because I was doing play-by-play in the Maritime Junior League, but I was frustrated because I wanted to be somewhere bigger. Then I got to Calgary and I was covering the NHL. Then ultimately I moved to Ottawa, I'm covering the NHL. But by that time I figured, I should be on a national network. Then I go to Edmonton and I'm thinking in my head, I should be on a national network. And part of me didn't embrace the spirit of the game and didn't embrace the journey. And now looking back, I think all those stops I made, they all taught me something. I met some wonderful people, but there were times when I was frustrated because I wasn't at the level I'm at now. So if I could say one thing, it's embrace every level, and that's what I try to do now. As I'm an old man, I'm 50 now, so I try to embrace every day. It's tough, don't always, but you try, and
Well,
that makes the journey that much more rewarding, I think.
I know for anyone who tunes in to see you on Sportsnet,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's you with Ivanka doing your,
Yeah.
it's almost like tag team wrestling.
Doing the Ken and Ivanka thing, yeah.
The Ken and Ivanka thing, or with Kyle Brandt on
Yeah.
Cover 4.
Love Kyle.
How can you communicate? How do you explain this? How do you think on your feet so fast? Because I know you're making it up on the fly.
It's just...
How do you do this? How can you pull from pop culture, from
Yeah.
movies, from pro wrestling,
Yeah.
and all your different influences?
I think it's no different than a guy being a great chemist. He's just good at chemistry. I'm not a great chemist, but I'm just good at random things that pop in my head about Charlie Lee and the Montreal Expos, or about Joey Jeremiah and Degrassi, and you steer it into a direction that's comfortable for you.
Well, you're doing it right now.
Right. Luckily, when Kyle Brandt comes on and he says, I don't know if you're a fan of professional wrestling. Well, geez, I am. So lucky for me, you learn to steer it into your comfort zone once in a while. And for me, like being here at the Spirit of the Game at the Hockey Hall of Fame, wholly comfortable. This is kind of heaven for me. So we're in my comfort zone. So yeah, it's challenging to get out of the comfort zone. But I think when you're in TV, if you can bring it back to your own comfort zone, that makes it a little better. And I'm not a serious guy. There's a time to be serious. I like to laugh. For me, my wife always says, people don't remember numbers, they remember stories. I'm not going to bore you with stats. I know too many of them. But people can talk about, Wayne Gretzky's like 50 and 39. That's awesome, but what went into those 50 and 39? Chris Dylan, the most penalized man in the 1980s. You can rattle off the stats. But what made him the most penalized man? What did he do? Where did that fuel come from? What drove him? So to me, and I know you're like this, Gary, you're all about stories, and I'm all about stories. And if you can sit somebody down in front of their TV and you talk to them, say for Kyle, for instance, about the NFL for 7 minutes, and someone who isn't an NFL fan said, I really enjoyed that, that's a win.
Here's one more win. You're writing. You're an author. 9 books. The latest, there's one you just did about scouts.
Yeah, it's coming out it'll be out in fall 2025.
The title is?
The next one.
The next one.
Yeah.
So so you talked to pro scouts.
I talked to about 15, 16 scouts. I want their war stories, right? First off, I want some stories from the road, and then I talk about what they look for, who they found, who they haven't found, what fuels them. And it's not necessarily about finding the next Connor McDavid, but it might be about finding the next Aaron Asham, or finding the next guy. Like anybody can.
Dustin Wolf.
Dustin Wolf. Anybody can go. Connor McDavid's a great hockey player, but it takes a true scout to find that great fourth
Dustin Wolf, who could very well be.
He should be Rookie of the Year, in my opinion.
There you go. The great goaltender from the Calgary Flames, who also is personifying the spirit of the game, because he comes from nowhere.
San Jose or something like that?
Nowhere in California, 7th round pick, and now he's starting, and
he's
like
not,
you said,
he's not 6'8". He's an athlete. That's what I love about him.
Yeah. Ken, listen, thanks so much for doing this, and continued success.
Hey, I have a book to
with
plug.
everything.
I have a book to
plug.
yes,
sorry.
By Kevin Shea, Jack in the Box. Kevin's always been around the Hall of Fame. This is a fantastic hockey book. Well done, Kevin.
Love an author who plugs another author's book. And Ken Reid from Sportsnet also happens to be the commissioner of the MGA Golf Tour.
It's a big gig.
It's a non-paying position, but it is valued nonetheless. Pride of the Maritimes and the 1990 Pictou County Juvenile Men's Golf Champion, Ken Reid.
Thanks, Gary.
And we're here chatting about the spirit of the game. And never forget, you can't create a legend without a story. And you could be one story away from creating your own legend.
Nailed it, buddy. One take.